Whoa, whoa, whoa. Welcome to another episode of what show is this? Oh yeah, Foodie Confidential. I
Foodie
do so
Confidential.
much. I do so much. I got the wires get crossed. Welcome to Foodie Confidential with Jeff and Trevor. Um, we're here today to continue a conversation that we had started a week or so or a couple weeks prior. Hold on, I'm really thirsty. I just need to quickly parch my throat.
Me too.
Oh
Yeah.
my lord. Oh, geez, Louise.
What does your cup say?
Oh, my cup says Rena's paw pad. What does your cup say?
My cup says, Rena's paw pad. Your pet will always be comforted and cuddled.
Wait, my cup says my pet will always be comforted and cuddled as well.
Speaking of
What is
speaking of pets, hello, Louie.
Wow, Louis looks comforted and wait, what is it? Comforted and cuddled. He looks very comforted and cuddled right now. So yeah. I had a t-shirt to go with this mug, but it's in the wash because I wore it already. And
Very
laundry,
comfortable.
yes,
Very
and the
comfortable.
laundry around here turns over really slow. So I had to make do with just my wonderful mug, which really keeps my beverages warm or cold depending on what I'm drinking. So check out Rena's Paw Pad, one of our newest sponsors here at Foodie Confidential. Just wanted to put that out there. How you doing, Trev?
I'm great, Jeff. I'm absolutely fantastic. And it's really, really nice to see slowly but surely the weather getting warmer,
Oh my God,
snow
yes.
going away,
Mm-hmm.
and people going back to as normal as they can get it.
Slowly, it's happening. Makes me happy as well. So there is that. And you took some trips and they were successful trips. I'm really glad to hear about that. Congratulations to you.
Thank
Phenomenal.
you. Yes, I went to Dallas when it froze over. So
Oh, perfect.
I experienced the first 3 days of an absolute shit show because, we're in New York and, whoever's listening, if you experience winter when it comes to snow, you have plows, you have salt on the ground, you have people able or, as best as they could
Right.
be able to drive in the snow. In Dallas, it doesn't snow. So in Dallas,
No infrastructure.
they have infrastructure with water pipes outside of the houses, where in New York they're inside the house. You have roads that are flat, but zero plows, zero salts, and it was crazy. Like, imagine it snowing 7 inches in New York and just cars packing down the snow as they drive over, turning into basically an inch to 2 inches of like straight ice.
And the houses are not weatherized in the same way they are in the Northeast. So you have
And it's funny
all
because
sorts of disasters.
yeah, and of course the memes and social media start making fun of people in Dallas, but like I experienced it, like people were struggling. Like luckily, like where I was with my sister,
Dude, it was a disaster, and it was not even something to joke about. I saw the jokes as well. I didn't find anything funny about it. And, people wanted to be like, oh, you can't handle a couple inches of snow. But it's like the entire structure down there banks on there not being any snow. And
Right.
so terrible.
But besides the first 3 days, everything kind of went back to normal. Things went well. We went to a few restaurants. Restaurants down there have a totally different, set of laws when it comes to serving, and it's really beautiful to see that businesses, especially the restaurant business, are allowed to function to make money and still stay safe. It's pretty much the same as they are doing over here. They're wearing masks. You take your mask off when you eat, and they're properly social distance. But it's not like you have a 200-seat restaurant, only 20 tables, and that's what they're doing in New York. And slowly but surely, these restaurants in New York are going away. I know
Very
20.
sad.
I know 20 restaurants in Westchester alone that have closed for good.
Tragic and sad, and very sorry to hear that.
But yeah,
truly.
so we already touched on what kind of servers we like when it's a person that writes down the.
Yeah, where do we leave off on this?
We were talking about
The hold button.
that's where we were going to the back to the POS system. But I believe we talked about like the different types of personality for servers,
Yeah.
about how to sell something. A person that writes down on the checkbook the order and repeats it back, to the person that memorizes it.
Right.
The dish that sells, that you know how to sell, to compare it to something,
Right.
So maybe we can get into like steps of service. Steps of service is like really, really important, because like I believe we talked about like marking the tables with like a beverage napkin, and then going to the hold button. The hold button basically means that I can have a function in the POS system to put in the appetizers and then hold the entrees for the kitchen, and I can watch the table finish the food, and then maybe go to the fire button if there's a fire button, or literally go to the expediter and say fire table 12.
Well, let's talk about that. That is, this really deserves its own. This literally is its own subject, and it falls into steps of service. So I think it's really, really, really like it's a huge, huge thing to discuss. So as we previously said, there's this concept. There's this tool, whatever you want to call it. This aid to servers, to the situation, to the workflow. Basically, what it is, it's a button in many of the systems. The touch computer systems that you use to enter in your food. If you're not in a place that's completely not adapted for electronic communication, and you're literally writing something down on a check, putting it on one of the spinny things, and the fry cook is reading it. If you're not in one of those situations, if you're actually entering something into the POS system, there's this button called the hold button. And what it does is it allows you, it's kind of like a primer. It's like it allows you to, it's like a catapult. It's like it allows you to wind back your order. Like, you set up what you want to send to the kitchen, but you don't necessarily want to send it yet. Or maybe you do. It's subjective. Why is it subjective, Trevor? And why would you want to send it immediately or versus wanting to hold it?
Well, like, the best POS systems that I worked with is it knows the categories. Like, let's say if you're going to a screen on the POS system, which is the computer that has all the buttons, it will have appetizers, starters, or salads, soups, and then the entree sections, which is entrees or the sandwiches, and it knows where to put it on the ticket. Let's say if I have a ticket of 3 apps and 3 entrees, it will sometimes, for a good POS system, it will have the 3 appetizers on the top of the ticket for the expediter to start reading, and then it will have a line, and that's where potentially the hold button that you can also put, where it will come on the ticket and then have the entrees below. I've worked on it where you can also individually send a ticket as a hold. I don't know if you've had that too, where you can literally just send a ticket for the table, hold, and then, okay, if it's all on one ticket, all congested on one ticket, the expediter could then see the hold button on the ticket and be like, okay, that means that all these entrees are going to be hold until I'm told to fire it.
So the way it works, at least with Aloha, or at least the version of Aloha that we had when I was working in probably the restaurant I spent most time in, the way it works is you enter in, God, man, this is going on. It's been some years since I've even thought about this. You enter in the food, whatever, appetizer, whatever, it tells you exactly what it is. And then you can hold everything,
right,
and fire individual items. So let's say I want to fire this. Let's say that one person is just having a appetizer, the other person's having an entree. They're having an appetizer as their entree with a couple of sides.
Yeah.
So I can fire that all at the same time with the entree, and that's the meal. And usually if it's all fired at the same time, you as you said, the expediter or the line intuitively knows that this is all supposed to be at the same time, or a question will get asked.
And yeah, it's a really, really good system, because like, what's the worst thing? You get appetizers and your entrees come out when you're still eating your appetizers, or even like immediately after your
I have a lot to say about this.
like personally, when entrees come out, when you're still eating your appetizers, poor run restaurant. When you even when like you get your appetizer plates cleared, and in the matter of 30 seconds your entrees come out, to me that says, okay, they fired it too fast and they're just getting the food out of the window to be put here. And essentially my food actually could have came probably when my appetizers came, because they fired it all at once. um, I like it where it's staggered, not too long, not too soon, where I'm finishing my appetizers, the plates are cleared, I have new silverware. If they do that, I get another drink, and I'm drinking and I'm digesting my food and my palate's cleared, and then my food comes out for entrees like in a timely fashion.
Okay, I have like a literally like a 45 chapter page book to say about this one thing. I'm going to try and be as concise as I can, or at least let it open it up into discussion. First of all, one thing we did not mention for Aloha, another thing that you have is the with entree button. It's a beautiful button, and what it does is you should always use the with entree button if it's an appetizer
Right.
that's supposed to be an entree, or with the entree. That's all you have to do. Then you don't have to have any verbal communication with the kitchen, because they can read the ticket. They say with entree. Oh, okay. You're going to have,
because they're robots back there. Like when they see an appetizer, it's an appetizer. If they see with entree, it's like,
very
okay,
true.
This person is going to have the tuna tartare and a side of asparagus as their entree. I order like that sometimes. Sometimes I don't want an entree, and sometimes I get a little appetizer.
Me too. Me too. And it has to be that way in order for there to be, machine-like precision. So it makes sense. Now, in terms of what you were just discussing, this to me is one of the, it's a paradoxical argument that you're going to hear on both sides. Depends. This is a super subjective issue, what you said. And the issue is as follows. If I fire all the food at once, or if I fire the entrees right after the appetizers, so they come out right on top of each other, or even at the same time, or while they're eating, that's incredibly poor service, in my opinion. I'm super old school like that as well. I just don't think you should ever. You should get your situation down, that exactly how fast the kitchen is going to cook it, and exactly how congested things are, and know exactly when to fire it. Now, if it's a Sunday double and you have an hour wait, you best believe you're going to fire all that food at the same time. But if the restaurant is super, super dead, there's no reason to do it right on top of each other. I know tons of servers that do this because the philosophy is they really don't care about the quality of service. It's just about turn and burn. They're completely going for volume. The faster that you get your entrees, the faster I can get you out of here, get the table turned, and get somebody else in there. Yeah. And I, as both a diner and as a server, have been personally insulted for the table or whoever is in that situation, where they suddenly are mid appetizer and all of a sudden their entree is there, and then they're rushing to eat the appetizer because their entree is going to get cold. It's a complete and total lack of consideration for the clientele. Now, the flip side of this is you have people that come into a restaurant on, Sunday afternoon, whatever. They come in with their kids. And, again, first thing you should always ask when kids come into a restaurant is, are you on, what's it called? What did I used to always say? What's your expiration date? That's what I would say. I'd say how long do your kids have before they're going to, lose it? And parents, in general, are incredibly receptive and appreciative of this acknowledgement that they have children. It makes them so happy. They'll verbally go, thank you, really appreciate that you even took notice of that. In those cases, they're going to want everything out at the same time, or they're going to want you to have one thing on top of the other, because at the end of the day, they just want to get out. They just want to have a nice meal. And at the same time, they have kids. So they make concessions. The concessions is either we're going to have to leave early because the kids are going to lose their shit, or we're going to just have to eat all this food as fast as possible and try and replicate what we used to have when we didn't have any children.
Yeah, and like kids' food is usually what? Pasta with butter, pasta with red sauce, chicken fingers, a
Yeah.
burger, mac and cheese, all that stuff takes less than 5 minutes to make. And whether their parents want them to be distracted or,
Right.
they're hungry, like kids are hungry and like kids can't wait as long as adults can.
Right.
Um, and adults sometimes turn into kids when they can't wait too. But yeah, it's important. Like I would always say, like, hey, like, do you guys want the kids food out first and have them eating
Right.
and keep them occupied, or are they well behaved and will wait properly for all the food to come out at once?
Yeah.
There's this comedian that his name's Sebastian Maniscalco. He's so good. He is a comedian that does observational humor. He actually is started out in the like as a server in the food industry, and he would always say like, these people's kids, like, they're not well behaved, like, oh, isn't my kid so cute? It's like, no, your kid's not cute. He's throwing food everywhere. He's slamming the forks and knives like it's a drum set. You know what's cute? The Japanese kid over there in a tuxedo that's sitting there properly waiting for his food and paying the bill.
Right.
Really funny.
Right.
you know, Everybody thinks their kids are well behaved. Some really are.
Very
Some
true.
some just are not. And uh it's a server and a person's responsibility, because the kids still are guests to the restaurant. So like, how do you make the whole entire restaurant like in perfect harmony? Like if there's a kid that is being loud and really really, for a lack of a better word, annoying, like that's ruining other customers experience. And like if you're able to quiet them with some food right away, go for it.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
and, and go for it, Jeff.
No, 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 nothing. Just that, it's a very subjective feature on one hand, and it comes back to the larger picture of humanity versus capitalism. Capitalism drives us to make as much money as we possibly can. And, the fastest way to make as much money as possible is not through quality over quantity, but quantity over quality. And so therefore, there's a school of thought. And it also depends on the type of restaurant you're in. If you're in a really fine, fine dining sort of restaurant, hoi polloi, high, falutin kind of restaurant, you're gonna probably have 3 tables for the whole dinner shift. It's like a 6-hour shift. And you're gonna have 3 tables, and they're all gonna tip you enough on their bill that you're probably going to walk out of there with maybe even more money than, say, if you worked at a chain restaurant and you turned and perned, no joke, 50 tables, range with tips ranging from people not tipping you at all to people tipping
Right.
you 20%, or 15%. And then it becomes a numbers game,
Yeah.
So in a way, it's actually the reason why some of that stuff happens is also because of the system, which is that, servers subsist on tips, and therefore they're going to do anything they can to make sure they make the most money that they can on tips. And they are going to treat clientele a certain way as a result. So it's kind of interesting how that, like, for instance, if you're getting paid an hourly wage, if you're making $25 an hour as a server, which is how they, kind of do it in like Europe and stuff, you're not going to care. You don't care how many tables you have. As a matter of fact, you want to have the least amount of tables possible, because you're still going to get paid the same amount no matter what. If you're in America and you only have 2 tables and you work at a chain, your sales could be $25 for the whole shift in the afternoon if it's dead. You know what I mean? Somebody ordered a cup of soup and somebody ordered, and you can go to your manager and say, "Hi, I'm not making any money. Can I please leave?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're cutting you."
Yeah. I have
Yeah.
a good transition to go to. Since we're only going to go till 1 o'clock today,
Yes.
and hi Rena, you see, Rena's here live. Awesome. That is the owner
Hi,
of
Rena.
Paw Pad. Anyways, so since we're talking about service and stuff, hold on one second. Since we're talking about service and stuff,
Yeah.
Because I just experienced this on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. And I want to stick to the server side because this can be our next segment. Um, Sending food back. Sending food back is going to be our next topic of discussion, but let's talk about this, just the aspect on the server side. Now, sending food back can be many different things. It can be your food was completely wrong. It can be it doesn't taste good. It can be I ordered medium rare and now it's medium well. It could be this chicken is about to kill me. It could be so many different things. And when it comes to forget about the customer side and the kitchen side, since we're talking about good service and bad service, whenever I was a server and I had a customer get food back, I always had to react and respond to the way the customer is handling it.
Right.
The person is really, really disrespectful. It puts me into a really, really, really angry mood, and then I judge the shit out of what they're doing. I look at the thing. This is completely perfectly fine. Or if they're right, they're right. And whenever I got food back, I would always basically be like, don't worry about it. It's not a problem at all. You're the one that is paying every single person's salary in here at the end of the day. And you deserve to get what you wanted. And if it was my fault, like let's say if the person ordered a hamburger and I sent them steak, I would literally just be like, I'm so sorry. That was on me, because I feel like the honesty factor of owning up to your part and saying like, I fucked up, they appreciate it more than like putting blame on the kitchen that they can't even talk to. You know what I mean? That's what I did for if it was like completely my error. Now, if it was the kitchen's error, let's say you know, if it's the kitchen's error, like let's say if it's supposed to be medium rare, like I would of course analyze it myself and I'd be like, okay, this is a perfect medium rare. I guess they just like medium and they ordered medium rare, but whatever is what it is. Let's just put it over the fire and cook it a little bit more. But like if it was like no one's fault besides the cook, you know what I mean? Like it literally says steak, medium rare, mashed potatoes, no spinach, sub asparagus, and they put spinach. You know what I mean? It's like, hey guys, like it says sub asparagus. You guys put spinach, and they would always cause an attitude and stuff. But like the communication through the kitchen, through the server, through the customer, was always important for me. Now, the biggest one is like when a person doesn't like the taste, how do you deal with that? You know what I mean? Like that's probably the hardest one to deal with, because like when there's a thing like something that's undercooked or a substitution that's wrong, that's easily fixable, and there's easy blame. When a person says like I don't like this at all, and you ask like, okay, what's the matter with it, and they're just like, I don't know, and maybe they just don't like the dish that they ordered and they rather order something else, and you switch it out, be like, okay, no problem. Like instead of going with a new completely different fried chicken that you ordered, like what do you want instead? To me, that's like the most like cringeworthy and uncomfortable like interaction with the customer, because it's like, you don't like our food. You know what I mean? Like, because thousands of people order this dish and they always finish it, or they take it home, or they say nothing about it. You know what I mean? So
I mean that in itself is subjective a little bit.
for
I
sure,
mean,
for sure, for sure. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. There's sometimes where, like, by accidentally, the person's hand was really, really heavy on salt that day. You know what I mean?
well, I mean, also there's this idea, the concept of cilantro. For those of you out there who don't know, cilantro is a weird thing where there's some people that when they taste, it's just in your genetics, man. It's just the way you were born. There's some people who taste cilantro and they taste dish soap, and there's some people that taste the actual flavor of cilantro. So it's like this very polarizing thing. So I really can't hate on someone's palate if they don't like what the majority of what other people like. This is also a very weird sort of thing. I also think that it covers such a broad, or there's such a broad there's such a broad spectrum of like where you are when you're dealing with this sort of thing. If you're at a chain restaurant, the logic there is the customer is always right. It does not matter what the reason is in general, unless there's like a ton of, if it keeps happening over and over again.
That's the census in family restaurants too. You know, I mean, it's a little bit like more like.
But what's the difference? What would you say the main difference between those two, the situation between those two?
I mean, the situation between those two is that you're criticizing a chain to criticizing like a family recipe.
I would say no. That's not what I was thinking of. I'm thinking about cost overhead.
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
It's for a family restaurant. It's a big deal because a family restaurant is constantly worrying about inventory.
Pennies.
A chain doesn't care about inventory. In a chain, when you think about inventory with chains, it's infinity. It's literally infinity unless they run out of something on a shipment. You know what I mean? There is no concept there's no concept of like finite resources. It's a giant corporate monster. So of course, and then what happens, of course, through this, and this is a whole other topic, we have to talk about rewarding bad behavior. Yeah. But in general, I all the time, my immediate the immediate thing for me to do, because we have this thing when I was training to be a manager, there was this thing that the managers were trained in, and by extension, the servers were taught to believe this too. It's called BLAST, and it stands for this: believe, listen, apologize, solve, thank. So believe is don't doubt what your guest is saying.
Right.
If the guest is saying it, just believe them. It's true, even if it's bullshit. Because here's the overwhelming reality of no, most certainly not, Robbie. Most certainly not. Because the overall theory is that it's a numbers game. Most of the time, people are telling the truth.
Yeah.
There is a percentage of people that are absolutely scamming the system.
Yeah.
But it's more profitable for a restaurant to believe in the person than it is to worry about the $2.89 for the beef or whatever.
Well, why do you think Chipotle, whenever you say like add guac, you know that's extra, right? Like, because I guarantee you in the beginning they just charge and like, you didn't tell me it was extra. You know what I mean? So they literally are robots,
right?
You know. But since we're wrapping up soon, I want to do like a quick little like fun thing.
We got to come back to that. We got to come back to that at some point.
Oh, this whole entire topic is our next topic for sure. But so basically, two quick stories.
Okay.
One time I was at a steakhouse, really, really high-end steakhouse. This was in Delray Beach, Florida. And I'm at this steakhouse, and you know, when you're at a steakhouse, the biggest thing, in my opinion, is quality of the steak and perfect cook temperature. Okay, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like that's why you're paying $50 for an 8-ounce filet mignon, in my opinion. The steak quality is phenomenal, and the cook is going to cook medium rare to the fucking perfect degree. I'm sitting at this table and I hear this guy ordering with the waiter, and he's like, a random customer. He goes, "I will have the New York strip, and if the chef dares to cook my steak over medium rare, I will send it back." And I'm just like, what a absolute dick way to order a steak. And like, I hope that guy got the fucking best steak in the world. And he's like, wow, I'm a piece of shit. Anyways, and then another story is over this weekend, I was at a restaurant in Tarrytown, and my girlfriend got a hanger steak, and hanger steak is very, very thin. You know, she likes her steak medium rare, and it was perfectly medium rare besides the middle part. Like, they sliced it, and like 2 pieces in the middle were raw, you know, because that's it happens.
Yeah.
She was like, "Is that raw?" Like, I was like, "I mean, it's raw. You know, you're fully capable
still
of eating.
tasty.
You can still eat it." And I said to the waiter, I said, "Hey, do you mind just taking these 2 pieces and putting it over heat real quick?" And he goes, "Oh, absolutely, no problem at all." And that was it. That was a conversation. So what I want to do right now is pretend to be a customer to Jeff, and
We're role playing.
I want Jeff to handle me real quick. Jeff, I'm going to have the skirt steak.
Hold on. If we're gonna do this, let's do it right.
This is fun. Role playing is fun.
All right, hold on.
My dog is snoring and is falling asleep to this video.
Okay, hi. Welcome to Bobby's Steakhouse. My name is Jeff. I'll be your server tonight. Do you have any questions about the menu?
Water.
Okay.
I'm fucking with you.
One problem. Oh, not to worry, sir. I already brought you some waters. They're right in front of you.
Lemon?
Sir, there's lemon right on the side.
All right, Jeff.
Do you have any questions about the menu?
No, I think I'm good. I'm going to have the skirt steak, and I'm going to have that medium rare, please. That comes with mashed potatoes and asparagus, right?
It does, but if you want for $1 extra, you can sub for the sweet mashed potatoes, which are really, really great because they just put this little infusion of cinnamon in the sweet mashed potatoes. And when you put a little bit of our fancy butter on top, it is just mamma jam delicious. I highly recommend you try the sweet potato mash instead.
No, I'm good.
Okay, no problem.
All right, and you know what? Let me also have a Caesar salad to start too.
Sure. Did you want? We have two different types of dressing. We have the Caesar dressing, and then we have the extra salty Caesar dressing. That's so salty, it makes your tongue shrivel up like a slug. Which would you prefer, sir?
I would like the Caesar dressing with it on the side.
Okay, no problem. Okay,
and that'd be it. Thank you.
All right, very good. If you need anything else, just let me know. We have endless supply of bread, so if you need some more bread, I gotcha. All right, I'll be right back. Hey, this fucko wants no. All right, I put it. Look,
I hate Bobby's restaurant.
I put this in. Yeah. Oh my god.
Anyway,
right, so I put it into the thing. Here you go. Okay, ready? How was your salad, sir? Did you enjoy it? How was the salad?
I didn't know there were anchovies on it.
I'm so sorry about that. Yes, it's a Caesar salad. I don't know if you realize this too, but the dressing itself is an anchovy dressing.
I did know that, and I'm fine with the anchovies in the dressing, but I hate when they put the anchovies on top, and I didn't realize that they had that. But don't worry about it; it's all good. I'll just move it to the side.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Does Bobby's restaurant have the anchovies in the actual dressing? Because you ordered the dressing on the side.
I'm being annoying.
I know.
So,
but I'm asking a question. This is a rhetorical question. Right, we're breaking character for a minute. You got to answer my question.
It didn't say anything about anchovies on the salad or in the dressing.
Sir, I am really so sorry about that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring that to my manager's attention. We type up the menus weekly, and I will let them know. This is actually the third time that's happened this week, and I've made a note to my manager already. I'm going to let him know that this happened as well. If you'd like to speak with my manager, please feel free.
No worries, no worries. It's tasty.
Okay. Good. I'm so glad.
Okay, now the steak comes out.
Okay, sir, here's your steak. Would you like any salt on top of it?
No, I'm good. I thought I ordered that special sweet potato salad. This is the regular mashed potatoes, right?
Sir, yes, I offered you the sweet potato mash, and you said you preferred the regular potatoes. Would you prefer?
Dude,
would you prefer instead?
Doesn't this happen all the time?
What? Oh, all the time. But hold on, let me respond to you. Say it again.
I thought I ordered the sweet potato mash that you recommended. This is the regular mash, right?
Sir, if I may clarify for you, you did not. You preferred the regular mashed potatoes, but it's so easy for me to swap out. If you prefer the sweet potato mash, I can totally change that out for you in 2 seconds. I highly recommend it, actually.
Yes, take this out of my face.
Okay, here we go. Here's your sweet potato mash. How's your steak, sir?
See, like, what we're doing right now sounds absolutely ridiculous to people, but this happens in the restaurant business all the time. Please do not do what I'm doing right now when you are dining at
This
a
is really
restaurant.
fun. Can we do this at the end of every episode? Because I love it.
I think this is a great idea.
Yeah, it's a lot of
all
fun.
right, now let's pretend that the steak is perfectly cooked medium rare. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Hold on, you froze for a second. Okay, you're back. Okay. All right, ready? You're eating. You've eaten 2 bites. I'm coming over to the table. Excuse me. Don't mean to interrupt. Just wanted to check and see how your food is. Are you enjoying the sweet potato mash? And how is your steak?
Oh, the sweet potato mash is absolutely delicious. You were so right on that. Thank you. Thank you for recommending this to me.
Hey.
I ordered medium rare. I feel like it's a little raw.
No problem. So sorry about that. Let me take it back to the kitchen and we'll fix that for you right away. Goes to the back, blah, 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 blah. Hey, can you throw this on for a few seconds? I'm sorry. I'm in the weeds. I can't do it. No problem. Bring it back out. Put it back right in front of you. Here's your steak, sir. We threw it on the grill for just a moment. Enjoy.
I'm sorry. Now it looks medium well.
No, you're supposed to eat it and go, oh, it's so much better. And I didn't do anything to change it. That's
I had this was the worst. Like I had one time a family member. She wanted medium. It was medium rare. Then we cooked it more, and then it was well done. And then it was like, oh my God, like we're just roading this freaking hockey puck right now of a burger, and we had to make another one. And then it was like just medium. Like it could have went like either way. Like
at that point, I get the manager involved. I go, here's the beautiful thing, and we got to wrap this up, but I want to say this. At this point, or if you're a server and you're in this situation, and we could talk about this again, whole topic. If you're a server and you already have a few red flags, this is going to be a difficult table, you can save your bacon by going to your manager. If you have a manager that's receptive to this sort of thing, because there's some managers who are real dicks, you can go, hey, just letting you know, I can already tell this is going to be a difficult table. I might have to call you over. You might need to. I'm just letting you know. This is not the type of table this is going to be a difficult table.
Because at the end of the day, this is what this person wants. I mean, maybe not consciously, but unconsciously, this person actually wants that
the confrontation.
The manager, besides the confrontation, the manager to come over and give them the special treatment that they think they deserve.
Right. And so if you're getting that hamburger sent back 100 times, at the next time you go, you call over your manager and you say, hey, George, could you run this out to the table and just check with them? And it's not because you're trying to like create a buffer. You're doing yourself a favor because the customer, the guest realizes that you're trying to you're taking their complaint very seriously and want to make sure that they're happy.
And who knows, the manager might see okay, a lot of things went wrong here. It's time to offer them a drink or a free dessert, or
the manager can assess,
or even just that special touch, like, where are you guys from? And then the conversation happens, and that's it. But this was fun.
Yeah, we got to run, guys. To be continued. I would like to do this again this week, but I don't know if it's going to be possible. But maybe once a week on either Monday or Tuesday will be really, really solid for now, at least at this time. What do you think of that?
I think that's perfect.
Cool. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Join us next time as we continue our trials and tribulations about the restaurant industry. That's right. And check out Rena's Pop. And make sure to listen to a Drake song. You might get a discount. And peace.
She makes your dogs look like this.
Yes, that's right. Peace.